So I'm watching a video, and I'll put the link down below. This is indirectly related to this, but child diddlers and crap like that. Ugh. I have my own story to tell, simply because it involves a minor, and frankly, there was no right solution, there was no right answer, and it still is a pain because of the outcome, which was the kid's mother ended up hanging herself. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And every time I hear this stuff about child diddlers and these pictures being exchanged online, and as far as the link goes, they're talking about Instagram, which, if you're not aware, the parent company, whoever owns it, I think it's Meta or whatever, they're trying to push out a version of Instagram for kids. And apparently these people, they exchange pictures or sell pictures or whatever on Instagram and other platforms. I don't know if they do it on Facebook or not. I don't. They do it through Telegram too, if I understand correctly, but there's nothing confirming that. It is secure in a lot of regards, so maybe, who knows. I did end up talking to some other people in the governments and all that, because they're looking for like weapons being traded or sold or whatever, random twice. Yeah, but that's different. Anyway, painful. So the story itself is very short, but it did take place over like a day or two, not 2 years ago, but 3 years ago, if I remember correctly. So 2021, in February, if I remember correctly. The kid's name, his online username was Little Paws. I do not remember what his first name was. I don't know much about that. I do not remember where he was currently living at, but it was not in the same state. It was a different state. Don't know where, but that's all I remember. And he was living with his brother, and they're both under the age of 18. I want to say the one who I was talking to was 17. The thing was, the kid was trying to establish a friendship with me that I was not really aware of at the time. I was talking to a lot of people and trying to just be encouraging, being myself and all that. I am a little bit polarizing, but I don't go out trying to cause conflict or drama or issues or whatever. But that being said, after this whole entire situation, I realized I just needed to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more respectful, not just kind of brushing things off without like listening to them, listening to others. And no, I didn't brush the kid off, but I wonder if why it took me so long to understand some of the things this kid was saying up until like the time where he said like, I need help, and reached out to me because he just couldn't handle this one situation anymore. I'm not like the brightest when it comes down to these social signs, especially online, because unlike real life where you can see someone and you see that they're serious, there's no seeing when you're online unless it's like a 3D chat program or whatever and you can see their character, but that's not here, not there. That's a different topic, and I already covered stuff about online avatars previously anyway. Oh man. Anyway, the kid came to me when he just couldn't handle it anymore because he and his brother were being molested by this preacher or pastor, someone in their church. He said church, and I do not remember him or his brother being Catholic at all, so it wasn't like a parish. But either way, what I do know is he came to me saying that they were being abused and that he was doing horrible and he was contemplating suicide. And the first thing that I did was that I asked was whether or not he was in any physical danger and safety at all, because that's what I care about, that sort of thing. he did say that he was fine eventually. And the next thing, well, I asked about him and his brother too. But the next thing was basically like, hey, you need to get some help because I'm not there. I don't know the situation, everything that's happened, blah, blah, blah. Get your mom involved. Tell her what's going on because you need help and she can contact authorities if you're not going to go contact authorities on your own. But anyway, for better or worse, she did get involved, and I don't know what all transpired between him and his mom, but what I do know is the police came and picked up that guy, got him arrested, according to Little Paws. But the problem was after all that, which was, I believe, the next day, when the kid came back online to say that his mom had hung herself, and I felt guilty afterwards. I didn't really know what was going on, but I found out afterwards was that she had dated a perpetrator, the kid molester or whatever. I don't even know if anyone else was actually being molested by this guy. I don't know. It could have been more than just those two. But either way, the police picked up the kids, and that was the last I ever heard of them again. And I don't even know if they're online anymore. I wish the best for them. I prayed for them. I tried talking, reaching out every 4 to 6 months, and just seeing if I heard anything back from them. You know, nothing. In fact, I think their profile's gone. I think they deleted everything and got offline, which is probably the best thing to do if you're in that situation, because being online makes you easy if you're emotionally unstable and you are lacking a lot of you're lacking a lot in your own line. That's just a bad combo, plain and simple. You know, you're going to be looking for people to spend time with. There's a lot of unstable people online. Okay, so even if they are stable, let me put it this way. Being online, the longer you are online, the more issues and problems and your general anxiety will increase. It is hard to simply go online these days and just to rest and relax. It really is. And for this kid, I can't see for the life of anything where he could just be online and just be better. Being online is basically, at this point, staying communication and contact with others and play games, watch movies, and buy stuff, and that's it. You really shouldn't be online like what you could over a decade ago, where you could just screw around and have fun and stuff like that. That's pretty much the story as far as that goes, but it still hits me hard when I think about this stuff, because I helped the kid out, but the cost was his mother hanging herself. Yeah, I didn't get any details as far as what she used or where they found her body at, or where he found her body at, because it sounded like he actually walked in on it and she was hanging from somewhere on the ceiling. Absolutely brutal. Having something like that happen to you, you're not going to be doing well for possibly the rest of your life. Now, granted, the first couple of months are going to be the hardest. And then after that, when you're able to stabilize, the next would be the anniversaries, the special days that you remember. Spending time with your mom, her birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, etc., etc. Yeah, brutal. But the thing is, around that time, I realized quite a few things, and I started reaching out to seeing if this local group that I saw on Facebook or whatever, I reached out saying, hey, is that something I'd be a part of? In short, I was looking for a job to do, and I was doing private security at the time. I was involved for probably like a year to 2 years, I think. I'm trying to remember. I'm a little hazy on the details of where and when I was at when I was talking to these guys, but it effectively came down to like, thank you, but if you can't like go out here, you might as well just stay where you're at. I'm paraphrasing, but the thing is, working with this stuff is something that I felt very strongly about at that point in time, and I still do, but taking blows like that, that's a little hard. I don't know if I can do that every single day. And people who go after these online perpetrators of this kind, you gotta be very stern in a lot of ways. Some of them which I'm at, where I can have the willpower to like shut things down or act a certain way, but that does add up. Now, granted, I am in a good situation where like a lot of things are settled. I don't have any significant other in my life or kids or whatever, so like my responsibilities could allow me to go into any sort of law enforcement in that particular area. As it is, because of this incident, I'm that much more stronger and more concerned in this particular area with kids and minors. This is more of a side topic here. After all this is said and done, I kind of realized, and it was more of a bad topic that I got involved in, which was who would do more damage? A feminist, a man-hating feminist, a terrorist, or a pedophile? Of those three, which would do the most harm? And I'm like, okay, between a feminist and a terrorist, we'll see. Because the pedo basically doesn't affect anyone. He's too scared to come out and be like, look at what I have accumulated, all these gigabytes, pictures. They're not for anyone else but himself and him selling them off to others. That's like the only form of contact these people have is like, I want to make money and I want to have this stuff for myself. But you have terrorists. The dumb ones died out years ago, and I'm talking about the ones who self-deleted with explosives back when I was in the army and all that. Burning up the checkpoints, boom, gone. Explosives. Now, the man-hating feminists, the ones who are just basically emasculating men and saying, you're garbage, kill yourself, excuse me, undelete yourself or whatever. The ones who are basically throwing men under the bus and just being like completely the worst kind of women ever. Oh, they can affect hundreds, thousands, probably not millions of lives, but passing the hatred on to other women is something to be noted. And the negative experiences that they have with other men result in job losses, relationship changes and losses as well. And you have a lot more men tiptoeing around women because of this bad experience or these bad experiences, singular or plural. And it's to be noted here that the amount of people affected is notable. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong, but I will just say the amount of people affected is humongous. So you got at the very bottom there, the guy who deals with the kid crap, the kid pictures, the NSFW pictures, the nudity, the porn, whatever you want to call it. You got that, and it's basically the area of influence would be himself and whatever buyers he would come into contact or sellers or whatever. The next thing would just be the terrorist. And yeah, with the Hamas versus the Israelite situation, you got a whole bunch of civilians affected. I saw this video with my very own eyes about the dead French Israelite female was paraded around on the back of this truck, lifeless and had no clothes on. It's just like, oh, okay, so you could assume what happened to her, but you also can see the fact that these guys are like on the back of this vehicle screaming and shit with their guns out in full display. And this was before the other atrocities that were committed by them. Though people want to defend them, whatever. I'm going to stay out of that. All I'm going to say is the video that I saw, which is being passed online, you have to go look for that. Just floating around a dead body, a female body, no clothes on, and just like weapons being fired. Yeah, that doesn't make them look good, that's for sure. They're definitely not being portrayed as villains. They're being portrayed as like, we're trying to liberate our lands and stuff. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Hamas. That is a subject I really don't want to touch, just because it's completely negative, and frankly, it detracts a lot from what I'm going towards. But I do have to say, terrorists need to be dealt with no matter the country, no matter the faction. And lastly, civilians and citizens will always be affected whenever terrorists are around. Take that into consideration. Actually, the lastly part would be this next part. Excuse me. With feminists, there's a lot of hatred involved. A lot of misplaced anger. This whole lumping all men into one category as abusers. Perpetrators, abusers, predators. And it's basically when men, and I myself have been involved with the whole, like, well, I had negative experiences. The whole, not all women are like that, was used time and time again. I've seen this, I've heard this, and I've experienced this in the times where I reached out and said I had no experience with dating other women. And frankly, it's completely frustrating. Because it's like double standards. Lumping all men into one category and yet having women be like, no, don't do the same to us. Like I said, a bit of a side topic there on who does the most damage. Especially when kids are involved. Now, okay, to be fair, when terrorists litter fields with explosives and that shit still be found to this day, kicking soccer balls, detonating something, and the next thing you know, your kid's out there bleeding in a field. Okay, maybe I'm a little bit off there. Who knows how many explosives are still left behind? Oh, now granted, my time spent in the military when I was deployed was in Iraq. So Iraq is a slightly different story than Afghanistan. Slightly. Their infrastructure is still there. Unlike Afghanistan's that just kind of like fell apart overnight when the U.S. just like, bye, and then they left. Oh my word. Anyway, if it's one thing that we have in common, I mean the U.S. and Afghanistan and all that, is control. You know, what's right, what's wrong is going to be perceived differently, but control, and they have standards set. They don't do double standards that I'm aware of. And they keep things locked and tight. The problem is, there's a lot else that is simply not kept in check. Anyway, I'm not going to go further down this rabbit hole. I'm just going to let it be and end it here, because this video was meant to be about mainly the story with the kid whose life I helped save, and the whole side topic. None of it's pretty. None of it went well. And I only hope that this kid is doing well wherever he's at. Now, there's other kids I've been able to talk to, and one of them I lost contact with, but I heard 2 years ago, I think, that he was doing all right, that he was in the Navy, and that he was succeeding. So, in short, the kid was doing well, and he was going places in the Navy. And I was just like, that is awesome to hear. Just, that is straight up awesome. You are taking steps on working and ensuring your own future so that you will be better off. I hope that is still the case. I really do. All right, until next time.